On. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We're about to kick off our 2020 African American History Challenge local competition open house, and we're actually going to start off with a short video on great African kings of the Kush Empire. It's a short video. It's about 7 minutes, and this will give folks a chance to get logged in. And then soon after the video concludes, we'll jump into the agenda for today.
Skip the ad. Save a few seconds.
I do reading, find job, no emails, reports, right up.
Could you hear the audio?
Yes. It was a little choppy, but we heard it.
The ancient Egyptians built one of the greatest empires in history, and, despite facing many difficulties, managed to maintain their sovereignty over almost the entire Nile River Valley. But Africa has always been a gigantic continent, inhabited by many different peoples. Some wanted to conquer the fertile lands of Egypt. Kingdoms and tribes with origins in Libya, Syria, and Turkey were constantly fighting against Egypt. But there were a people whose tenacity and courage frightened even the powerful Egyptians. The Nubians were an African people who lived in the Nubia region in today's Sudan. The Nubian people have been living in that region for a long time. By 3100 BC, there would be Nubian villages along the River Nile. During much of their history, the Nubians did not develop any writing. Much of what we know about them is in the records left by the Egyptians. The Nubia was a region rich in gold veins, semi-precious stones, ebony wood, incense, and ivory. This wide range of resources encouraged the Egyptians to invade that region in search of extremely useful raw materials. The Nubians resisted the Egyptian invasions as much as possible, but they were militarily inferior and were progressively pushed south. Due to the various periods of instability in Egypt, the Nubians were able to organize more effective defenses. During periods of peace, Nubians and Egyptians traded and shared different forms of knowledge. During the reign of Pharaoh Thutmose I, the Nubians were part of the Egyptian Empire, but that dominion quickly collapsed, and the Nubians established a unified kingdom, with Napata as its capital. The Nubians thus founded the Kingdom of Kush, which would become a respected African power. The term Kushite Kingdom comes from the Egyptians, who called the Nubian Kush. The founder of this new kingdom was a tribal leader named Alara, who became king of all the Nubians. With the Kushite kingdom established, the next step was to ensure its defense and economy. For this, Alara's successors reigned successfully, strengthening the kingdom and expanding their domains. The Kushites began to trade with Egypt through the Nile. They also established contact with the Arab kingdoms such as Nabatea and Sheba. The riches of the Kushites were extremely popular. Their leaders, priests, and even farm animals, like horses, were always embellished with pieces of gold and rubies. Over time, and due to the periods of instability in Egypt, the Kushites started to conquer Egyptian cities, including the city of Thebes. At the height of their power, under the command of King Paye, Egypt was fully conquered by the Kushites. King Paye declared himself the champion at the command of the god Amon. He joined his army, warred for over a year against several Egyptians, defeating everyone in his path. The phase of the Kushite and Egyptian history took place during the Third Intermediate Period of ancient Egypt, which began around the year 1070 BC. It is a period also historically known as the Nubian dynasty. The coexistence between Egyptians and Nubians originated in marriages between the nobility of the two kingdoms. Both cultures influenced each other in religious and social matters. After consolidating the dominion in Egypt, King Paye returned to the city of Napata, capital of the Kushite kingdom, leaving his brother and successor to rule Egypt and its cities. Egypt remained under Kushite rule until 656 BC, and only weakened due to the Assyrian invasions, which conquered almost all of Egypt, causing turbulent pharaohs' lands. The Assyrians were fearsome warriors, much superior militarily. They already used iron weapons and armor, besides siege weapons and a well-trained cavalry. The Kushite rulers had to retreat to Napata. Sometime later, they founded the city of Meroe further south. Meroe became the new capital of the Kushite kingdom. The Kushite rulers adopted the Egyptian custom of erecting pyramids, being buried in those built in the city. During this period, the Kushites began to develop their writing, the Meroitic script. The Greek historian Diodorus Siculus claimed that the Kushite kings reigned until they received an order from the priests of the Golden Temple. When this happened, they committed suicide and passed the power to the next sovereign. This strange custom lasted until the reign of the leader Ergomenes, different from most of his compatriots. He was an educated man, having studied with Greek teachers and learned philosophy. When Ergomenes was ordered to commit suicide, he was furious. He sent his soldiers to the temple to kill the priests, putting an end to this custom. Women also had important roles in Kushite society, having an active voice in everyday matters. For several times, Kushite queens reigned without the interference of male companions. There are even reports of Kushite women who fought in battles and commanded troops. The king's mother was given the title of Candace, which means Queen Mother. She was the king and queen's advisor. On some occasions, she participated in political negotiations and could even take full command. One of these powerful women, and perhaps the bravest of her people, was Amani Shaketo, who reigned in Kush when Rome had already conquered Egypt after the defeat of Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Rome demanded that the kingdom of Kush pay tribute to the Republic. Amani Shaketo did not accept this demand and considered it an offense, declaring war against Rome. Her soldiers advanced to pillage Egyptian cities under Roman rule. In 24 BC, the Kushites sacked the cities of Aswan, Philae, and Elephantine. They returned to Kush with prisoners, valuable objects, and Roman statues. Even the head of the statue of the Roman Emperor Augustus was taken by Amani Shaketo in a gesture of contempt against the enemy. Upon learning this, Augustus sent Roman General Petronius and his soldiers to punish the Kushites. There are few details about the battle, but Petronius may have said that the Kushites had more than 30,000 warriors and were fighting with frightening fury. Amani Shaketo was described as a corpulent and rough woman. She led her troops and became blind in one eye and being wounded by a Roman. After more than 3 years of fighting, the Romans finally proposed a peace agreement. In the year 20 BC, Romans and Kushites signed the peace treaty. The Roman emperor recognized the kingdom of Kush as an independent power without being obliged to pay taxes to Rome. The kingdom of Kush lasted until AD 350, but due to a lack of resources and trade, the kingdom was very weakened and dispersed. The once rich and proud Kushite kingdom ended up dominated by the Aksum Empire, which expanded its borders from the region of Ethiopia. The Kushites were an incredible people with brave warriors, skilled craftsmen, and wise merchants. Their history shows us the strength and perseverance of the African people, capable of repelling even the powerful Roman Empire.
So what did you think about that video? Can you hear me okay? Any thoughts on that video? Hello?
This is Maeve Justice of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Pennsylvania chapter. I did not know if you were gearing that more towards the young people, but I will just say that even as a seasoned person, it was very knowledgeable and I learned something I did not know before.
Okay, and it's for everyone. We're all learning at this point. So thank you for that. And if anyone else has any conversation, comment on that video. I just thought it was such a powerful, powerful video.
It indeed is powerful. It shows, our people have been in a positive light since that time until present.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our agenda. So my name is Brother Joel Wilson. I'm with 100 Black Men of Philadelphia. And we're just so excited to put on our African American History Challenge. This is going to be our local competition. The purpose of this challenge is really to highlight for our young people the greatness that's already in them. Some may not know, so this will give an opportunity for them to tap into something that they may not have before, and give them something to fuel themselves right now while they're in school. And it's not just for now, it's for the future. You're going to move forward. You're going to either be going on to high school or to college, into various career paths. And we just want to give you something that is that you can just take with you forever. And I think one of the things that as adults we sometimes don't convey enough to young folks is that knowing your history, your knowledge, having consciousness about yourself is crucial, because it doesn't matter when you're in a public setting and you have to say something, you want to put your fist up and show you're Black. What matters is when you are by yourself, when you're in that meeting and there's no one like you around. Do you support the Black community? Do you support the Black cause? Or do you, fold like tissue? And so we're trying to build young folks so that, you are like the Malcolm X or the Assata Shakur, Benjamin Hooks, Harriet Tubman. So that's our goal. So the African American History Challenge is the intellectual property of 100 Black Men of America, Incorporated. The program was started in 1995 under the leadership of the late Brace B. Godfrey Jr., founding chapter president of 100 Black Men of Metro, Baton Rouge, Inc., and a former member of the board of directors of 100 Black Men of America. This year, the School District of Philadelphia Black History Month planning team through the Office of Curriculum and Instruction will be partnering with the 100 Black Men Philly to provide students an exciting opportunity to participate in the organization's annual African American History Challenge. Additionally, we have continued our beautiful collaboration with the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Inc. Pennsylvania chapter. And they have just been such an invaluable partner in bringing success to this program. And incidentally, last year, 2 of their mentees actually won our high school division. So with no further ado, I actually want to check and see first we're going to bring on Mrs. Ayanna Washington from the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, PA chapter.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see everyone's bright faces and the snow. If you open up your window, you might think you're in Canada, because outside my door looks crazy. But I'm really excited to be here. Before I get started, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our Madam President Fields, and give her an opportunity to speak a little bit about the history of our chapter, and then we'll go from here. So without further ado, Madam President.
Good morning, or afternoon, because we're after 12, but wherever you are, I hope it's good. Thank you all for tuning in to this amazing day. What else could you be doing on a snowy day but be inside nice and warm in front of a screen in your comfortability? So thank you so much, Ayanna, and thank you, Brother Joel, as well. As Ayanna stated, my name is Latifah K. Fields, and I'm the president for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated, Pennsylvania chapter. The mission of the NC 100 BW, as we like to coin it, is to advocate on behalf of Black women and girls and promote leadership, development, and gender equity in the areas of health, education, economic empowerment, and public policy as well. Across the US, we are comprised of over 3,500 members and over 60 chapters in 27 states, including the District of Columbia. The Pennsylvania chapter is one of the largest chapters with over 160 members, where our work primarily focuses in the Philadelphia area. As you are here today, and we know we are finishing up the month of January, but one of the most important months is upon us, no matter if it's only 28 days, we know it is 365 in our lives. We are coming upon Black History Month. And what better way to learn about your history than to learn by way of a challenge. Everyone likes a little competition, even adults, we love it. So Pennsylvania chapter is very proud to have two of our amazing participants of our mentoring program take home that crown last year. No challenge, 100 Black men in Philly, but it is a challenge to come on and bring that competition. But when we win, we all win, and we know that. So I am so excited that we are continuing to keep it 100, as we say, with our two organizations, and bring forth yet again another African American History Challenge. As stated earlier, we learn as the students learn, and you're never too old to learn. Every day I am learning something new, not only from peers within the organization, but the students we work with. And so I am glad to see that there are some of us on today, and look forward to hearing from more throughout the day and throughout the program. So thank you for the opportunity to learn more about our organization. You can visit us on the web at www.nc10bw-pa.org. And I will now toss it back on over to the chair of our Education Committee, Ayanna Washington, excuse me.
I was like, did I marry somebody else? All right, thank you so much, Madam President. And I'm really, really excited to have so many of my coalition sisters on today. Many of them helped us with doing our training and studying sessions with our young ladies last year. But I did want to take an opportunity to introduce Dr. Naishawana, Frances Thompson. She is the Deputy Chief of Curriculum and Instruction. And why this is particularly important to us is that she is actually in the division that oversees the Black History Month Planning Committee. Am I saying that right? Black History Month Planning Committee, who Brother Joel Wilson partnered with. And so it was very refreshing to learn that one of our very own coalition sisters was at the helm of this initiative. And so I just wanted to give her an opportunity to introduce herself so she can speak from both sides of the table. So Dr. Thompson.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Giving honor and respect to our Madam President, as well as Brother Joel, and also shouting out Ishmael Jimenez and Lena Richardson, who's leading this effort on behalf of the School District of Philadelphia. We have many things that are going on right now, but I'm excited to be a part of this effort on this behalf of the National Coalition, as well as the School District of Philadelphia. And it's such a joy when you can bring all of your worlds together in one place. So that further resonates with me as a new member of the National Coalition, that I'm in the right place and I'm in the right hands to continue to do the work that I most certainly love to do on the behalf of Black and Brown girls, and as a member of the School District of Philadelphia, to do it on behalf of the children in our city. So thank you. I'm excited to be a part of this effort and look forward to bringing history, real history, to our young people. It's something that we're very much passionate about in our Office of Curriculum Instruction. We are dedicated to bringing the truth to our young people, and we are doing it through our curriculum efforts and also in our training efforts with our educators in the district. So again, thank you. Excited to be a part of this work and look forward to also learning as well, because we are continuing to grow our knowledge in things that we have not been taught strategically in this country. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thompson. And hey, sister. And so I did want to do one other shout out, and that is because one of our principal from the city school, Mr. John Walker, has joined us as well to learn more about this initiative. And so I just wanted to welcome him. Thank you so much, Sister Nicole, for bringing that to my attention. And without further ado, I'm going to pass it back over to Brother Joel Wilson.
Oh, well, thank you.
How are you? And welcome to the area.
Thank you very much.
So thank you. I want to say thank you, Principal Walker, and to Dr. Thompson. Thank you for being in the background, and you are one of the folks who are in that room. And when the opportunity came, you stepped up for the Black community. So I want to say thank you. Our children definitely need more leaders in leadership that you've already displayed. So next up is going to be our good friend and brother, the point person who helped to bring this initiative to life through the school district, Mr. Ishmael Jimenez, if he is available. I know he's running 2 Zooms at the same time. So Ishmael, are you ready? Okay, it looks like we'll just circle back.
He had to hop back in the other session. We have another session happening at the exact same time, and it's wrapping up.
No problem, no problem. So we'll come back to him. We actually have another short video, and this video was actually created. School district is just killing it today. So by one of the another famous school district principal, Dr. John Spencer. He has a whole new line of videos on Black history. So he has so graciously shared this next video presentation we're about to watch. Okay, so the video was done by Dr. John Spencer. He's actually the principal at McCluskey School. And he has created a company with his daughter. So she's still in, I think she was in high school when they started it. I believe she's in college now, a freshman at Morgan State. So that just shows the power of both STEM coming in and Black history. And it's just, you know, there's no limit on what we can do. So has Brother Ishmael come back? If not, we'll circle back to him when he's available. And we're going to go back to the official book. So we're bringing on Miss Ayanna, and she's going to talk to us about the official book we're using this year. And she actually, in right after that, we have the 1 or 2 of the winners from last year, and they'll have an opportunity from the high school division. They'll have an opportunity to share some words with you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So good afternoon again. So the book that we're using is called 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro. Uh-oh, I forgot I had my thing up. Wait a minute. You can't really see it. Give me a second. Let me see if I can. All right, I think I got it. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's the book. It's called The 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro. It is thick, but the cool thing about this book, can you see it now? No, it's still blurry. Oh, you get the point. I'll send a picture of it, but it is in the ad, in the Eventbrite information. But one of the things that I love about the book is that, you know, over my time being in high school and in college, I've definitely tried to educate myself on things that I did not get access to in high school regarding Black facts or regarding Black history. And I can tell you for certain that there was not a chapter in this book that did not teach me something I did not know. I was amazed at how much information was in this book and what it gave to me. Thankfully, Sister Dacia and Sister Michaela are on the call, but they can tell you that when Sister Francesca and I were studying with them, we were like, what? We didn't know that? Oh, get out of here. Like the whole time we were more like, we were just as excited as they were to learn these facts. But our history is so rich and it just made me so proud. But knowing that Dr. Henry Louis Gates, one of the many people who has authored books and has done research to make sure that our young people and even us gain access to information that's important for us to learn about ourselves is just really phenomenal. And so my children who became stewards of helping us identify questions throughout this process have contributed to helping create some of those questions that came out of that book. For the competition in terms of the process. And I want to go back to one other thing. Originally, this book was authored by J.A. Rogers. He was a leading historian in the early 20th century. And so I don't want to take away his work and how Dr. Henry Louis Gates did expand on that. What I will say is that if you are representing your children, or if your children are on this call that are planning to participate, they should start reading this book right now. Some of these chapters are very short, but it's very, very, very robust. And so we have study questions that we created through Quizlet. We have some things that we can, I'm not sure, Joel, can you tell me, are we planning to share all that out, or are we going through that when we do the training, you know, every other week?
I'm sorry, repeat the question again.
Are we planning to share out those questions, or are we just going to review them when we do the study sessions every other week?
So the thinking at this time was to make the questions available during the weekly sessions. However, okay, if you think something should be done in addition to that, we can discuss that, and that shouldn't be an issue.
So either way, what we want to make sure that we make you all aware of is that Brother Joel and I and a few of his brothers, as well as some of our sisters, are going to coordinate to try to make sure we can do study sessions with the young people every other week. We're going to try to put that together for a multitude of reasons. One, because we want to make sure that they're trending and tracking towards where they want to be to win the competition. I can tell you that when we did do the local competition, even though we didn't have a lot of people, it was not short of competitiveness. These questions were timed. It was very robust. And so we want to make sure that we help our young people put their best foot forward. But part of that is us helping give them some of that structure. And so for the junior high school competition, the students are responsible to read the first 100 pages for the local competition. The winners will need to complete the book in its entirety for the national competition in June. So I want to stress that. There are 420 pages to read. And so I just want to be very clear, it's 420 pages to read, but the local competition is 100 pages. And so that basically covers up to about 30 chapters. So what I would say is that the sooner you start reading and kind of jotting down questions, it would be the best way to get started with that process. For the high school students, they have to read the first 200 pages. And that's for the local competition. And the same goes for the high school students. They will need to, if they are the winners of the local competition, they must complete the book in its entirety for the June competition. The good thing is, as I said, we're going to be supporting that effort throughout. We help the young women and men. That's part of the partnership narrative that Brother Joel and I wanted to really establish, is that while we're in the local competition, it's, you know, every man for himself. But once we're at the national level, we are supporting whomever comes to the table and has won that competition. And for the national competition, we combined the teams because we had winners on both sides. And so we were helping the young people study for both. And so that was really important to us. And so the last piece I just want to say is that if you are interested, the sooner you can form a team, the better. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Joel will expand on that, but that part is really important because it starts creating the synergy amongst the team and how they need to study and practice. And so with that said, I'm going to actually give Sister Daisha Cobb, who is one of our winners from last year. I'm going to give her, and if Michaela is available and wants to speak, an opportunity to talk about their experience in the competition, to give a little bit of insight as what it felt like to be the person on the other end trying to win the competition and in fact won the competition. Shout out to our scholars and mentors, mentees, Daisha Cobb and Michaela. So Daisha, do you want to come off mute so that you can share your perspective on the competition?
Hi everyone, my name is Deja. I competed in this competition last year with Michaela and we did win, but it was a lot of hard work. It was months of studying almost every day for long hours. Like even on my birthday, we had to study.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry about that, Deja.
Fine, because it all worked out in the end. But yeah, we studied a lot. It was a lot of new things for me to learn. The book was like very interesting. Like it was so much in it that I didn't know. It was a lot of people that I didn't know. And it was a really great experience, especially for like me. Like, especially from the school I go to, we already do like a lot of African American history. We learn about a lot of different people, but this book was like a whole nother level for me. And it was a really great experience. I look forward to doing it again.
Thank you so much, Daisha. And can you tell everyone what school you're from and what grade you're in?
I go to Sankofa Freedom Academy Charter School and I'm in 11th grade.
And doing amazing. Michaela, are you still on, Sister Michaela?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, can you talk up just a little bit? Can everybody hear her? Okay, great. All right, go ahead. There you go, Sister Michaela. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Michaela and I competed in a competition last year. And my experience on this was very interesting. It was a lot of things that I didn't really know about. And as we started studying more and making questions and reading the book throughout the course of the times that we had to study, it started becoming really interesting. And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And oh, this is so interesting. And I just felt like because we studied so hard and put in blood, sweat, and tears, because we was studying from like 1:00 in the afternoon on our lunch break, and then after school at like 4:00 we were studying till like 9:30, and it was just like it felt really good that we won because it was like all our effort that we put in this, we got to show it and we got to win.
Great, and thank you so much, Sister Michaela. And can you also tell everyone what school you go to and what grade you're in?
I go to Sankofa Freedom Academy Charter School, and I am in 11th grade.
Awesome. And I would be remiss if I did not give a special shout out to my sister and co-chair, Sister Francesca Dyer. She was amazing. She brought these beautiful young ladies to the fruition. She carried the torch when they were in school, and I helped carry the torch when they got out of school. But she was amazing in bringing them and helping keep them motivated and on task. And so I just wanted to give her a shout out and say really thank you, because I know even though she says she's a little too busy, she's still going to help this year because that's who she is. And so I'm really excited to partner with her again. And I'm looking forward to helping any of the other young women that want to participate in this process on the local competition. As I said, on the national competition, whoever wins, we're going to still support that effort because we really do want to make sure that we are bringing it home for Philadelphia and specifically for the 100 Black men of Philly who is sponsoring this partnership in this competition locally. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Brother Joel.
So Ayanna, thank you. That was just wonderful and exciting. I wish I could go back to high school so I could compete. So we're going to jump into the prizes. We have just amazing prizes for both the local competition and the national. I'm going to bring up the Eventbrite so we can just illustrate some of the prizes. I know I have a lot going on my screen.
I was just getting ready to say that, Brother Joel. But as you prepare for that, I'd like to say that the video I loved. I knew that information. I am a flight attendant, and we know that call bell very well. But those of us that love airline and airplane history, I am just so uber proud to that type of information was shared with everyone as well. So when you do hit that bell, you know, think about those that are coming to serve you, but also think about the history behind the seat and the bell as well. So thank you for sharing that wonderful video.
Absolutely, not a problem. And I'll actually just give a quick overview of some of the many mentoring programs that the 100 Black Men of Philadelphia is currently running. We have our famous Saturday Leadership Academy and Manhood 101, which meets the first and third Saturdays of the month in person at Vaux Big Picture High School. And here's the sign up for that. And those young, if you're on the call now and you're not a part of it, then if you're a young man, you do want to join this if you want to have the ability to compete in the nationals. So if you happen to win and you want to go to nationals, you do have to be a mentee in this program. We're all participating now. We're looking at the African American History Challenge. We have a junior investment program. They're actually meeting for their first session today. And we have another financial program which has not started yet. It's called the Hands-On Banking. This is sponsored by Wells Fargo. They start in February. And we have a third financial program that has not been added yet called Dollars and Cents. That is only for high school students, and that will start in probably about 2 weeks. So we'll be getting that launch on here. So you can always come back to the 100bmp.eventbrite.com to sign up for other programs. I'll drop it in the chat when I'm done. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into the African American History Challenge. And the first thing I want you to look at the desktop is this big check. That is a check issued by State Farm's. Our team, our national team, came in second place in 2019. Young folks won our local competition. It was held at the main branch of the Free Library, and they won a all expense paid trip to Las Vegas. They had a wonderful time. We took 13 young people competing in all types of financial and other activities at the conference, and they won $1,000. And a year before that, in 2018, we had a team of 2 young ladies, both were Central High School students at the time. They went to nationals and they actually came in first place. They won $3,000. So now we're looking at 2022. Philadelphia has a winning legacy in this competition, unlike the Philadelphia Eagles. And we're looking for you to help us to continue this legacy. Not only do we want to win in the high school division, we want to win in the junior high school division. So we've actually never placed in the junior high school division, and we're hoping to change that this year. So we just have some phenomenal prizes. So let's go through those prizes. Here you can see a great picture of our 2 winners from last year. And check this out, when you win locally, you're gonna win computers, and you'll win gift computer bags. So, and more importantly, you're going to win bragging rights. So for 1 year, you can go around and say, you know more Black history than anybody. So we're trying to see who are going to win those bragging rights for 2022. In our local competition, if you're in high school and you come in first place, then you'll win a Chromebook plus $100 cash. Second place, you'll win $100. When we say cash, is actually going to be a stipend. You can choose an e-stipend. You can choose an Amazon gift card. You can choose a Wawa gift card. Stockpile. If you don't know, Stockpile is actually stock. So you can buy stock with it. You could buy stock in Google, Facebook, Nike, Disney, any company that's publicly traded, you can buy stock in that company. Third place, $75 stipend. Junior high, first place wins a Chromebook as well. And this is both persons on the team. So if you're in junior high, you have two-person team, each person wins a Chromebook. Plus you'll get $75. Second place gets just the 75, and third place gets 50. Now, if you are on the winning team, if you're on the winning team and you are a mentee, either in National Coalition of 100 Black Women in their BEAMS program, or you're a member of the 100 Black Men of Philadelphia, our Saturday mentoring program, then you can go to nationals with us. If you happen to win and you are not one of our mentees, you will win your local prizes, but you will not travel to nationals with us. If that happens, then whoever is the highest winner from either 100 Black Men of Philly or the Beams team, they will be the youth that will travel with us. And the reason for this is that through our mentee process, we are building relationships between the mentors and the mentees so that we know we can have a safe and healthy travel experience when we go to nationals. It is not a safe experience to take young folks that you don't know, to take young folks that you don't have a relationship with the parents. One of the components of a young person being a mentee, whether it's in Beams or in the 100 Black Men's program, is that the parents also have to go through some type of training and sessions so that a good relationship can be fostered and all of the legalese can be worked out for the travel experience. And so that's why it's required that if you're going to travel to nationals, you have to be a member, again, either of the Beams, which is sponsored by National Coalition of 100 Black Women, or in the Saturday mentoring programs by 100 Black Men. So I do want to pause right there and just see if anyone has any questions on what I just said. Any questions? Any questions? And adults, please ask questions as well, because I want everyone to be clear and comfortable with what we're saying. Let me ask this, does that make sense, what I just said?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, Stephen Washington said, yes, sir. Thank you, appreciate that. All right, okay, I see Brother Bill has jumped on. All right, that's our mentoring chair on 100 Black Men of Philadelphia. I'm glad you joined, Bill, because they was, I see all this National Coalition in the background.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bill Dixon.
For the 100.
I am the mentoring chair of the 100 Black Men of Philadelphia division.
All right.
I just put our website for the Eventbrite in the chat button. So if you want to just click that, you'll see some of the events that we have coming up. In fact, next week we have a really good event coming up. The creator of I Matter will be there at our SLA. So check the Eventbrite location and feel free to join us.
Okay, appreciate that. So just want to circle back to that question, and as long as everyone's comfortable, I'll go ahead and move forward. I just want to make sure that everyone is clear with it so that later on, if we happen to have a winner there. Okay, I'm sorry, Canty, did you have a question or a comment?
I did. I put it in the chat. Yes, good afternoon. I did put it in the chat. And I asked what was the criteria concerned to be a part of these organizations.
Okay, there's none. You just have to show up. On the 100 Black Men, we have a registration link. It's in that same 100bmp.eventbrite.com, which Brother Bill has dropped in. So if for the young men, just the mom, dad, guardian, grandma, auntie, you fill out that form. And for beams, Miss Ayanna,
I can speak to that. Yep. So we have a sign up that we're putting together. We wanted to make it a little bit more robust so that we could have both the parents' information to interact with the parents to find out what their thoughts are around the young women being a part of it, as well as for the young women. And so if you put your email in the chat, if you have a young woman that is interested, we will send that information out to you so that you can fill it out on behalf of you and your daughter.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
Brother Joel, there's a question in the chat. Another question in the chat. It's will participants receive a packet of info? Will this video be available to those who would like to participate?
So I'll answer the second question first. So the video, it is being recorded, and we're going to disseminate it to everyone who's registered on here. Additionally, we will be creating a band group, which is like a social media microsite. You can access it on your phone, just so that all communication will have one spot for all of the youth who are participating, all of the adults. So it's one place. Any new information comes up, we can just drop it in one place and you can get it. And we're going to share with you as quickly and as efficiently to the best of our ability, all information relevant for you to participate and be successful. So we don't, I wouldn't say it's like a formal packet. That's probably more language that the school district uses, and that's part of sort of their best practices. So we're not there yet, but we will absolutely communicate every bit of information that you need. We'll try to make it as bearable as possible. We don't want it to be like, oh, they sent me 100 pages. We're not going to do that to you.
And can I expand on that too, Brother Joel? So one of the reasons that I think that having a packet of information is not the most beneficial is that that would really not be as helpful for the competition's sake. One of the things that we learned from doing the process is that we pulled out a certain amount of questions based on the way that we processed it, but we also asked the young people to do that as well. So they were reading things and then they would say, here's a question. They were like posing the question, and then we added that question to the list of questions that we gave them as kind of a starting point. So to make it competitive, it would be less competitive if we sent everyone the same amount of questions, because and Joel, you can tell me if this is accurate. I remember on a local level, the questions were random. Like there was a bunch of questions and the questions were selected randomly. So you guys didn't know how many questions we had or what questions we, used to help our young people study. And we didn't know which ones you guys had. And then those questions were selected randomly. So it might feel a little bit more, it would probably put us in a situation where not everyone could answer to those questions if they all had the same set. And if the questions are random and none of our questions are on there, then that would probably be more of a setup, if I could say that humbly.
Right. So, and Ayanna, I'm glad you spoke about that, because I wasn't even thinking about it in the terms that you responded, and you're exactly right. Now, what we are not trying to do, we're not trying to create a situation in which you're studying for the test. So this isn't that type of situation. This is literally the young folks are reading, they are processing the information, they are drawing conclusions, they're thinking about it, they're creating logical points in their own brain. And what we do is we build a database of questions. I think at this point, we probably have 600 questions. And for any adults on here, if you want to be helpful, you can be part of our research team. And all you're doing is you're reading the book, and you are and we have a Google form that you complete and you add questions. And then at the actual competition, our judges, we have an MC that will read questions. They're going to randomly pick the questions. So we, I don't know what questions will be asked at the competition. Ayanna's not going to know. No one's going to know. It is truly going to be a random situation. And so the young folks just need to be prepared. So this is not a study to the test thing, but practice is what's going to be key. Hearing as many questions as you can, that will help you in your study process. Does that make sense?
Brother Joel, one suggestion that Madam President Fields brought up is that maybe we can put together a packet, not necessarily of the questions, but just kind of the competition rules and things like that we can send out to each participant who signs up when they create their teams. So remember, we discussed like actually sending something more formal when they create their teams. Even though it's in the Eventbrite, it might not hurt for myself, you, and maybe Ishmael, and I think Lena, Ayanna mentioned that Lena was part of that too. Maybe just to kind of pull that together as a general, like a one-sheeter that kind of outlines that.
That's totally fine. If we're going to include the rules, it's not going to be a one-sheeter.
Well, yeah, that part, that part.
But we actually can, and we can actually share the rule book, because there's an official rule book. It's typically we share it with all of the judges, and but we can take it a step further and make sure that the coaches and anyone who wants it is not like it's not like top secret information. It's our rule book of how we govern the event, and it is the exact same rule book that's used at nationals. And that's why, like, our challenge is to adhere as closely as possible to the rule book, so that the young folks that go to nationals will have that experience. They would be at a real disadvantage if we ran a competition very different and then they went to nationals, and just the formality of it would blow them away. It is a very formal competition. It is literally like Jeopardy. It is very professional. I mean, these young folks are like, young lawyers up there answering these questions. It is high stakes. It is you could hear a pin drop. When we won in 2018, I'm telling you, it was like the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It was pandemonium. It was incredible. So we want to build that same type of experience as much as possible here. And I'll even throw out that we're working on just a beautiful. We've actually made a formal request to the school district to use. I'm not going to name school, but to use one of the really, really nice schools. The auditorium in the school, and I'm sure with some of the folks we have on here can maybe try to help that along. But in addition to that, we have some local celebrities that we've reached out to serve as MCs for this event. So this event has the potential to just blow up, and the young people deserve it. They deserve all that shine. Young folks can make team uniforms, jackets, sweatshirts, t-shirts. They can brand themselves and come in there and try to win. They talk smack. Just be respectful. Keep it on the intellectual, but go ahead and go at them. I'm smarter than you and your mama.
Right.
So,
say no more.
We're gonna have a good time.
Say no more. We understand the assignment.
Yes, we do. And Brother Joel, there is one other question, and I can answer it, but the question is, can any student from any school participate? And the answer is yes, as long as they are in the state of Pennsylvania. So Correct. If there's students that want to, partner, let's say it's one student at one junior high and another one at another, if they're a team, they can become a team and join the competition.
Absolutely. So this competition is not tied to a school. This is actually open to Philadelphia and the region. So you could, and I'm not just going to say it has to be PA, because if you're from Cherry Hill, you're in Camden, you can participate. We already have mentees in our program for those areas. If you're in Delaware, you can participate. Delaware County, Montgomery County, any of those areas you can participate. If you want to pick a friend and y'all go to school together, that's great. If you have a friend and you go to school, one's in Philly, one's in the suburbs, that's fine too. You don't, public school, private school, parochial school, home school, doesn't matter. It does not matter. All right, next item. So continuing in on the prizes. So when we go to nationals, for the teams that win, they get the all expense paid trip. That expense paid trip, it includes airfare. It includes their hotel stay. Excuse me. It includes food. And, you know, whoever the participants, they should bring some spending money. So I don't want to discount that. They should bring some spending money. But, you know, all of your necessities will be taken care of. So you're going to show up at the competition. You're going to have your, you know, your business professional attire. And if you're in high school, you are shooting to win $3,000 in first place. Second place is $1,000. Third place is $500. If you're in junior high, first place is $250. Second place is $100. Third place is $50. And you also are awarded huge trophies. These trophies are like you played in on the winning high school basketball team and you just won the city champs. You're going to get a trophy like that. I mean, it really is like that. And just the fact, if you go to nationals, if you are a young person and goes to nationals, all of the young folks who go to nationals will receive a medal that's very similar to being in the Olympics, the ones that go around your neck. And it's just a really, really nice affair. They have a Saturday is actually Youth Day at the National Conference. So the youth actually run the programs. I know back in 2019, Common actually was there. So and he performed, he both spoke and performed. D Nice was there. The youth, they have functions that's just for the youth on Friday night, all day Saturday. They will go on a trip. When we were out in Vegas, they went to, I believe it was the Grand Canyon, but if it wasn't that, it was another, you know, natural site like that. And you know, so it's really nice. The young folks, they really have just a great experience. So, you know, it's something that if you're blessed to win and you can go, I highly encourage you to do that. So that concludes, so on the prize side, everything that you know you can expect. Are there any questions about the prizes? Any questions? Ayanna, do you see any questions in the chat?
Yeah, I was going to say there is one question there. The question was a refresher on when the national conference dates and location are.
Yeah. So national conference is in June 2022. I don't have the exact date. It is set. I don't have it. I believe it's the second weekend in June. Nationals will make a determination whether or not it will be an in-person conference or a virtual or some sort in March. So we're waiting for that final word then. But we're going to prepare to be ready to go to nationals. You know, and as information evolves, we'll let everyone know. And was there another question?
Also talk, yeah, I was going to say, can you just speak to the decision about whether it would be virtual versus in person for the local, and just give everyone an idea of what the virtual competition was like if we go in that direction? Yeah. Okay, so I'll speak to the in-person. So in person, if we are able to do it in person, it will be at a local Philadelphia school district high school. We'll be using their auditorium facilities. And we have a buzzer system, computerized buzzer system that is set up so that each of the contestants have a button they can press. When they press a button, in the background, there's a big screen, and then will fly up on the screen. They'll be able to see, you know, if they get the correct answer, you know, something will flash showing that. If it's wrong, they'll get like a buzz sound that is incorrect. Really, really nice, fun experience. The last time we did it in person was actually March of 2020 at the String Theory High School Charter School. And String Theory has a brand new auditorium, visual arts auditorium, really, really nice facility. We're very gracious with it. Hakim's Bookstore was actually our vendor sponsor that was there.
so folks could pick up books, and we plan to do something similar at this next event. If it is in person, we will make the final call once we get a little closer, 2 to 3 weeks out. And of course, we're looking at the COVID guidelines, the school district guidelines. There's a lot of different things we have to take into consideration. I know there are issues around vaccination versus being tested. So at this point, I'm not going to speak to exactly what we're going to require. I will say that if you're fully vaccinated, you can always get in, but we will make decisions on what we're going to do as we get a little closer. We have a lot of guidelines and things we need to follow, and our main thing is we're trying to keep everyone safe. So we'll make that decision later. Now, if we go virtual, last year we actually ran the competition virtually. If we run it virtually this year, we'll be on Zoom. It will actually be on this same Zoom link that we are on. And we have software that runs online. I forget the name of it, but it's software for competitions like this. So all the judges will be online, and we'll have one of these Brady Bunch boxes. We'll have the screen where you can see sort of the results of folks buzzing in, things like that. And it was pretty efficient. So
I think it's called Buzz In, Joel.
Buzz In, okay.
Yeah, it's called Buzz In.
Okay. And if it really looks like we're gonna have to do virtual, we'll share Buzz In with all of the teams and encourage folks to practice on it, so that the competition won't be the first time that you're experimenting and playing with it. Matter of fact, that'll just be something we include in that band app, so people can start playing around with it and getting familiarized. So either way, we're set. We're pretty good. We are just so last year it was kind of scary because we were figuring this stuff out, but we got through it. We had a great experience, and so either way, we're going to keep it moving. Any other questions on that?
Yep, Joe, there is one other question. The question is from Kevin, and he's asking if he can get 10 or 12 students interested from his school. Should he have an in-house competition to narrow that down to one team for local competition, or should he allow 5 to 6 teams? And I was about to write back, I think you should have 5 to 6 teams that join, because that just may be too heavy of a lift to do before they even do the actual competition. But I'll defer to you on that in terms of your advice.
So thank you for that. And my answer is going to be, it is totally up to you. I've seen it go both ways. So I'll give you one example. Back in 2020, Principal Damon Warren at Columbus School, he ran a school competition, and the winners from his school competition competed in our high school national local competition in March of 2020, and his team actually won. So he had his own local, school-wide competition. They came here and they won. And that was sort of his choice, his direction. Now he did it, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. However, if a school may have, 3, 4, 5, or 6 teams, and, this may be part of your class. And so you want all of your teams to come and compete so that they can firsthand have that experience. That's fine too. When we put out that sign up link, the team sign up link, is up to you to sign up the teams how you want them to sign up.
All right, and then there's another question, or more of a comment. We really need a document of contest guidelines packet. Vaccinations could be a huge issue that will determine whether people participate.
Okay, we can address that. We will address it. Let me bring on. I see Ishmael Jimenez is now available. I believe I definitely see him on the screen. So I want to bring him. He's our school district partner, and he has been instrumental in making this partnership happen. So I definitely want to give him some time to introduce himself and present why this is important to him.
Thank you, Joel. And first, I just got to say it is an honor
to ever talk to folks who are about this work more than just in a performative sense, but more on the ground and not wanting to take the credit, but the credit is due by the child that you help mentor. So first, I just got to applaud that. We need more folks dedicated for that, for the cause for that reason. My name is Ishmael Jimenez. I am a social studies curriculum specialist for the School District of Philadelphia. I am so excited. I dreamed of when I've been a teacher for the past 12 years, teaching African-American history for a trivia competition to build pageantry around this history for our students to have access to and learn things and discuss. Because I found that our students are thirsty for this knowledge. It's not something that we got to force down their throat. Once they pass the Rubicon, right? Then they're like, oh, I never knew that. What does that mean? Oh, and then they start going down the rabbit hole, and it's not the rabbit hole of Illuminati videos on YouTube. It's more of the rabbit hole of the truth of the history and the importance. And for me, just connecting with Joel through Dr. Spencer at the school district, I immediately hopped on the opportunity because I know for a fact that regardless of how difficult it is in the schools right now and what's happening with the pandemic, this is another attempt to kind of provide a space for folks to build those important relationships, to build those important structures that hopefully after this, we can move forward to really like embed this in a much more citywide way, where we can look back and be like, wow, it kind of started, with a couple teams here and there. And now we're talking about schools going so hard against each other about who knows this stuff. And I think that is so wonderful, especially in a place like Philadelphia, which has a graduation requirement for African-American history. And if you are unaware, not only does it have a graduation requirement, but the resolution that made that so also had language about integrating African-American history in every grade. And a lot of folks don't know that's part of that resolution. So I think this work is so generative. There's no reason why I had children step in my class in 11th grade, never knowing that Martin King lived past 5 years past the I Have a Dream speech, or never hearing of a Carter G. Woodson. And so this work is so essential. So I just definitely want to just uplift all that. And I'm just humble servant for this work. And I know I've been saying this a lot today about Dr. Nye, but Dr. Nashwana Francis Thompson is the best boss I ever had. Her leadership in the school district is inspiring. That allows this type of work to really grow and embed itself, hopefully systematically. So regardless of what happens in the winds of everything, we have something where we can refer back to and be like touch base and be like, this is a part of the work that needs to happen. So, I'm sorry I wasn't here earlier. I ran my third Africana Studies lecture and workshop series today, which was which was wonderful, I gotta say, despite my stomach pains. And I want to invite everybody, if you're interested to ever join some of these things, please reach out. We're trying to blur the lines a little bit in this conversation. That's important, especially if you're about the work. We can't pay you, but you're invited. And it's just wonderful. And look out for all the Black History Month events that are coming out next year also. And this is one of them included. So thank you for the time, and thank you.
Thank you. So we'll continue. I believe there were some other questions. Ayanna, did you see any more in the chat?
There was, Ishmael had mentioned that he's trying to get 2 schools, 1 to 2 schools in Philly to do a school-wide competition. My only concern around doing the school-wide competition is the preparation. And then if you do a school-wide competition that's not based on the book, that's not going to help lead towards it. So that would be the only advice I would give, is that if you're going to do the competition, make sure that it's centered around the book, so that that's preparatory for them to prepare for the actual competition. Because there's a lot of Black history out there, and even though the book is very robust, There are things, it's very historical in nature. It's not as current as a lot of people would think. Like, who was the first Black president? One of my favorite questions in the book, and it wasn't President Obama. And so that was something that was really key to me when I started reading that. It was like, wow, even some of the facts that I knew weren't consistent with what the book said in terms of history. And so it just really opened my eyes. So I would just say, if any school is on here that is interested in doing a school-wide, I think it's a great way to engage young people in the first place, but also get them excited about it. But just make sure that you use the book as that primary primer to prepare.
Yeah, just real briefly, that is definitely the case. We're not going to break away from, that's the whole point, to feed into the local competition, hopefully a high school of the future. You know, we're definitely, at first, we weren't aware of this. But once we learned, it's like, we're not doing anything on the side. We're going to get this book in the hands of the coaches and the students who'll be involved. And hopefully at least 2 schools, I've gotten word a little bit, are interested in having a local, you know, in-school competition with each other around this, and then hopefully go over to the local competition.
Okay, perfect. And then Brother Joel, that brings up 2 things I think we can close with. And one is the discussion around what the young people have to do if they want to get copies of the book. And then the second is getting when we can expect, the deadline for forming the teams, like for the form itself, so that we all know which teams are trying to participate. And then the last piece of that is asking for coaches to help coach the teams once they're identified.
Okay, so those are the last items here on the agenda. So I'm just going to run through that so we can just make sure we touch on all those bases. Team declaration. Team declaration is going to be February 20th, 2022. And so we're going to push out using the Eventbrite registration list. I actually received the direct registration list that the school district provided, so we'll send out to that. And however someone, you know, is sort of in this network, we'll push out that link to get the team signed up. We're actually, and it's going to be the same team sign up from last year. It's a Google Sheet. I'm just going to update it and push it out. It'll be available probably by next week. So if you already have your teams, you can start getting them set up, and it will just, again, be due by February 20th. One of the new things we're going to do this year, no, I think we actually did it last year, is the band. So we're going to pull all this into band so we can have one centralized place for all communications that is relevant to the African American History Challenge. You can always ask questions. You can find what is the latest information. That will be pushed out actually by tomorrow. So, you know, again, using the same Eventbrite registration, those emails. And if you're on here and you happen to know someone is not present or didn't sign up, then you can definitely share that information, you know, to them so that they can sort of be in our little universe here. There's 2 divisions. Hopefully everyone is clear with that. Junior high, we define that as 7th and 8th grade. And then high school is defined 9th through 12th grade. So those are the 2 divisions. There are 2-person teams. A team can have an alternate player. So they can have a 3rd person that serves as the alternate in case someone gets sick or something like that. Believe it or not, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen where a young person on the team is not able to participate. And so the team member is trying to find someone. And back in 2019, we actually had a young man who the night before the local competition didn't have a teammate. So after we did our last practice, one of the brothers called his niece and took her book at 11 o'clock at night, and she was the partner. And guess what? They won. So that young man carried the team. So strange things happen. So it's not a bad idea to have it in you know, with organizations like the National Coalition or even in the 100, it may be good just to have an extra person that can just step in and be that substitute, you know, in case something happens. Weekly check-in sessions, we're going to start those Definitely by the end of the first week in February, we just have to do a little background. One of the call to actions for adults on here, if you are interested in hosting those either weekly or bi-weekly check-ins, then please, you can send either Ayanna or myself or Ishmael, send any of us an email so we can get that coordinated, because we want to get those meetings. And those meetings are check-ins so that you can, you want to test, you want to check on just how the students are doing. Are they feeling overwhelmed? Are they comfortable? You want to make sure that they're just, you know, they're doing okay. You can ask prep questions. You want to keep track of a sort of a cadence of the number of pages that should be read in a week, and you can sort of give guidance and encouragement if needed, if students are behind. So it's not a real big lift. It's only an hour meeting. It's going to be on Zoom, you know, and that's what we want to do just from a organizational standpoint, so that we know that we have teams moving forward for that eventual goal line of the local competition.
Just to piggyback on that, Brother Joel, I can't stress enough the support that we need on the coaching side, especially if we get more teams. It looks like we probably will get more teams signed up than we had last year. And I can tell you, just to speak to 2 points. One, it is a really heavy lift. And I say heavy lift not to the coaches who have to spend that time, but just to figure out strategies to help keep the young people on track and making sure that they know what to do. But the more people we have helping coach the young people and the teams that we have, the better off we will be. We won't have to spread ourselves so thin to support the teams that are a part of it, because our goal is to support every one of them. But if we end up with 20 teams, for example, then we either have to end up combining teams to try to help do some of that strategy. And everybody might not be at the same place. And so we want to make sure that we're giving as much support as we can to the young people. So if you can join, I know Francesca and I, sometimes we tag team and did it. Sometimes it was myself and Sister Mava. Sometimes it was me and Sister Tara and our chapter. So I think that will help. So if you can help, even if it's just for 1 or 2 of the sessions as you work through. But what it also does, and I'm sure Brother Joe can attest to this too, it allows you to start building a rapport with your future mentees. And for us, that was a big deal. It really helped us get to know the young ladies that we were working with. And we started having fun with it. You know, we would joke around and have fun, but you really get to see their stamina. And I'm gonna tell you something, I hate to bring them up again, but Daisha and Michaela were resilient, because I think every week they probably wanted to quit. And you know, it was exhausting, but they hung out. I mean, you heard Daisha say she was even studying on her birthday. And then, you know, Sister Francesca and I had an opportunity to surprise her and drop off some gifts to her for her birthday, because she sacrificed that. And so it really gave us an opportunity to really get to know them. And so that's what we're really looking for too, is that positive light into those the young people's lives as we're going through this journey with them.
And Ayanna, one of the things I want to sort of just speak on just for a moment. One of the challenges, one of the areas of improvement we as a community we need to build into our young folks an understanding that sacrifice is important for educational and intellectual development. So our young folks understand sacrifice when it comes to sports. You know, they'll get up early on Saturday. They will tell you they have to do it. They'll give you the importance. But sort of in this area of education, we've fallen off. And if you look at why we were able to, you know, why did our ancestors, why were they successful in the civil rights movement? You had high school young folks that would get up early and go sit in a Woolworths and be prepared to deal with that. And they understood the bigger picture. Like we like to say nowadays, you know, I understand the assignment. No, back then we understood the assignment. We understood we're going to talk about, am I going to sit on this bus, get arrested, so that this is a strategy so that now our legal defense team can get in here and fight this battle. So So these type of activities are crucial so that we can move the needle forward, you know, in our civil rights, in our legal rights, in the financial arenas, you know, understanding how this plays a part in business and money and all that. Really, let's get that full throttle freedom that has been denied to us. And so we've got to understand this. So, you know, I applaud the young lady who said she studied during her birthday. You know, you have to do that. I mean, we have to make those type of sacrifices, you know, and so I'm getting off my soapbox on that, but I applaud the young folks for what they've done. And I know when I see Latifah, she's gonna be like, Joel. It's all good though. Now on the actual competition, right now the date is set Sunday, March 13th, 2022. Sunday, March 13th, 2022. The contestants must arrive at 12 p.m. The contest will start at 1 p.m. The contest is set for 1 to 3 p.m. We have a built-in 1 hour additional time in case we run over. So that's built in. Hopefully we won't have to use it. It's going to be a beautiful event. Depending on how if COVID goes down, we'll have food vendors. If COVID is still thriving, we won't have food vendors. But we are planning to have, Hakeem bookstores and possibly 1 or 2 other cultural vendors there so that folks can buy some merchandise. We're really trying to build this out. This is one of these major cultural initiatives there. We're going to encourage folks to come dressed in African attire, or come dressed in their and you know, very positive t-shirts. We may even have a quick t-shirt competition. Folks can come on stage and model their things. I mean, it's up to us to be creative with this thing. You know, we got to use our kuumba. You know, kuumba ain't just for Kwanzaa. So, judges. We will identify 3 judges, and they will have the ultimate responsibility of being the rules keeper for the contest. So we will absolutely have a representative from National Coalition of Black Women. We'll have a representative from 100 Black Men of Philadelphia, and then we will, we'll pick that 3rd judge, and they may or may not be from one of the respective organizations. It may be someone who's totally from outside, so that, you know, they're, you know, as unbiased as possible. No one can say there's any type of favoritism, things like that. Coaches. So if you are an adult, you want to be either a coach, that's an adult leadership position. If you want to be a researcher for questions, that's another adult position. If you want to help host the weekly sessions, if you want to do any of that, you can put that in the chat group. We'll be saving this chat and we can pull that out and reach out to you. Put your contact, put your email and your cell number, please. Email, full name, email, cell number. Let us know which of the 3 you want to do, and we will be in contact. Last thing I just want to go over again, requirement to participate in a national competition. If you're a young man must be a mentee in 100 Black Men of Philadelphia. Young ladies must be a mentee in the National Coalition of 100 Black Women of PA, the BEAMS program. So if you want to go to nationals, then you have to be a participant in one of those organizations. You do not have to be a participant if you just want to compete in a local competition. You know, if you just want to compete, win the computers and be done with it, totally fine. You do not have to join either of those mentoring programs. With that being said, I'm going to ask, is there anything that I left out, Ayanna or Ishmael?
Nope, I think you covered it all.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? Questions or comments?
There was one last question, and I did answer it. It was around would the coaches have to run their own check-ins? And I answered yes, but that we could provide structure to the coaching if they're trying to coach a BEAMS mentee versus a male mentee, because I know that we did them separately last year. So we can talk offline if you want to try to combine those. I know we did some together, and then we had our own coaching sessions throughout the week. So I know that if they're coaching the young women and they're going to be part of our mentee program, we want to make sure that they are aligned with them.
Yeah, so coaching and check-in is different. So the check-in is for everyone. That's, girls and boys, young men, young women, that's totally fine. Coaching is where you are employing your strategy to win. So you just want your team when you're doing your coaching so that you're not disclosing whatever your secret sauce is and trying to win. Is that clear? Coaching and check-in is different. Yes. Because even in the check-in, the coach can come and ask questions. They may need some support and some help and some clarity and some encouragement. All right. Is that it? Any other questions popping up?
There's one other question. How do coaches get access to digital copy of the book? That was the question we didn't answer. So in the Eventbrite, we talked about the ways they can get the book. So what is the deadline for that and how can they get access?
Right. So if you request a copy of the book, we're actually going to process that this week or next week. So by Friday of next week, we'll do that. I know we offered a choice of the hardback and the electronic. We're not dealing with the hardback. We're going to do 100% of the electronic. It just makes it easier to manage and to get them out. We don't have to worry about trying to ship them and pick them up. So it's going to be 100% electronic books. So anyone who requested a book, we're going to do that. If you want to buy a book yourself, then I would encourage you to use one of our Black, bookstores. We got Hakeem's, we got Uncle Bobby's. There's a newer bookstore on, was it 2nd Street or Girard Avenue? Harriet's. Yes, Harriet's. So I would encourage you.
Brother Joe, just real quick, I did check with Harriet's and she did have the book the last time I checked. So I'll double check to make sure that she has it there.
Wonderful. And I know Hakeem's has it. We've been purchasing through them for the last 2 or 3 years. So, we can do that. But just if you're requesting us to provide you a copy, which is totally fine, we'll do that. And if you were a school district school, so I don't exactly know how the school, if the school district will supply books or not, I don't know. If they will, thank you.
We will, Brother Joe. Got that taken care of.
Okay, all right, there you go. Bang, bang. All right, so but yeah, we're gonna make this happen. I don't want anyone to walk away from here thinking they can't compete because they need a book. We have financial resources. We'll make it happen. Like if everything we said, if it's not touching your heart, if we miss something, send me an email. Send me an email and let me know, and we will address it. We don't want not one. If I had to buy your book out of my pocket, I would do it. We're not, there's no way that the ancestors would be looking at me crazy if it's some young lady, some young boy wants to read, and I'm like, well, I'm going to Starbucks. I can't buy you a book. And this is, we all have to sacrifice. I'm not just saying it for the young folks. We as adults, we got to sacrifice. We got to make this happen. And in the summertime, Latifah is going to throw a big splash party for us at the Nile Swim Club.
Yes, we've already added that to the schedule. Absolutely. Okay.
All right.
And Brother Joe, just so you know, there's no other questions in the chat.
Okay, great. So on that note, we're going to close it out. It's a beautiful, brisk day. Stay inside, drink hot chocolate. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Good day, everyone.
Bye. Have a good day.
Brother Joel, I was staying on because I wanted to know who was your contact for the facilities.
Okay, great.
Don't forget to stop recording.
Yes. Thank you for that.
I like how you threw that Now Swim Club in there, huh?